Paul Gross has played many roles in his career. A Mountie on that hit show Due South, which is how many of us first got to know him.
Constable Benton Fraser, Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
He's been a soldier, a gunslinger, a thespian, but the role he holds closest is that of filmmaker, dedicated to telling truly Canadian stories. Paul has managed to pull off the seemingly impossible. He made curling look exciting with the movie Men with Brooms. Then there was this. Passchendaele, written by, directed, and starring Paul.
Hey, come on. You can't leave us strung out here.
It depicted the horror and the heroism of one of Canada's bravest military battles. That led to his next film, a work in progress called Hyena Road, but another moment in our common history, the war in Afghanistan. Now Paul wants to ensure more Canadians have an outlet to tell their stories. He's behind the push for a new specialty television channel called Starlight, which is a space devoted to Canadian movies and nothing but Canadian movies, 24 hours a day.
Please welcome to the program, Paul Gross.
Very good.
Welcome, good to see you.
You too. Love that cut.
I know, that's a desert cut, George.
Oh, that's great. Matches your boots.
Those are the desert boots.
They are. I'm excited about this. When I heard that this Starlight project was coming out, this is what I got in the mail. The Canadian Movie Channel.
Yeah.
A movie channel, all Canadian films.
100% Canadian.
That's
film.
fantastic.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
It's so incredible. Like, you're a part owner, it says, but explain this to me.
Yeah, I like own a little tiny piece of it.
There's a lot of good names that are a part
There
of the
are.
project.
That's great. It was started, it's spearheaded by Robert Lantos and Victor Lowy, who
both
many would
awesome
know
guys
are
in this film business.
Yeah, huge contributors to Canadian cinema. And then it has people like David Cronenberg and Patricia Rozema and Denis Arcand, Denis Villeneuve, myself, and many others. And we all came together under the basic idea that we needed to do something for Canadian cinema that has actually arisen because of kind of changes in the broadcast industry. So Canadian films have generally been orphaned over the years by traditional broadcasters, in large part because it's no longer part of their core business. And since people still, for the most part, see movies on television, we decided, well, we need to have a channel on the television devoted to Canadian cinema.
What's the plan for this to be a success? What are the stages that you think we need to hit?
Well, the first thing is that all of the work has been done to prepare for how the channel would actually function, what it looks like, what the library consists of, which is over 3,000 feature films that will be aired without interruption. We've got something like 1,200 made-for-TV movies, about 350 documentaries, a whole bunch of animated. No commercials. At all? No. Now we go before the CRTC, and we hope that they approve it, and then it gets carried on the basic cable. And then the other thing about the whole initiative of the channel that's really fantastic is the fund. So there'll be, I think it's something on the order of 70% of whatever money comes to the channel gets diverted back to make film. It should amount to about $22 million a year will be plowed back into feature film.
That's incredible. Yeah,
I know, and it would allow us to make somewhere between 8 and 12 full features a year. Which would also help alleviate the pressure on the traditional forms of financing film, where there's just too many people and not enough money to go around. So this would be an enormous help to the overall landscape of filmmaking in the country.
What is considered Canadian? I know that.
Anything with me in it, George.
Good answer. Wait, even this athletic adventure right here?
I don't know how this works, friends, but they already booked me.
Then let me tell you how it works. I'm not here for the party. This is my job. Some rookie is not going to move in on it. While he's skipping a semester of college.
Well, then you got nothing to worry about. I don't go to college.
That's the Aspen Extreme?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. My wife called, that movie was Aspen Extreme. My wife called it Alpine Excess. That was a good one. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think we can qualify that as Canadian.
It doesn't count as Canadian. How about this one here? You've also done this film, which has got a whole bunch of Canadian in it.
Oh.
Torque, torque, the beast needs more torque.
You really have pulled out everything that's just...
More torque. Turn it up, gotta uncork the cork. The beast needs more torque now. Torque, torque, the beast has to run.
There is,
God, can you imagine how painful that is to watch? It was like 100 times more painful to do.
Was it? Think of the Canadian.
Maury
right?
would not stop laughing at me.
You, the real Statics, Quarrington, like there's a lot going on in whale music, man.
Yeah. And it's again, that's a great film that a lot of people haven't seen. And that's what this would go on to this channel.
That's amazing.
Now, you think about all of this stuff we don't, even I'd be surprised at how many people in this room have ever seen that film. You probably haven't, and most wouldn't even know that it existed.
Right.
You know?
But in this country, and I say this, you know, out of admiration, there was no Paul Gross before. Did you look at yourself and go, there's a plan I can follow?
No,
there's a path I can...
I never had a plan. It just kind of... I would just sort of honestly just go from one thing to another, whatever seemed interesting at the time. So it wasn't, I mean, I think looking back on it now, I suppose I could have had something more of a strategic sort of path. Like, I'm going to do that, it'll lead to this and lead to that, but I don't know. I mean, I've had an enormous amount of, it's been very interesting and for the most part a great deal of fun. So I can't, I know people who do think strategically, but that just seems sort of weird to me. I don't. But I'm from that other generation, I suppose. I asked Pinson about that, because we were working together on Alan Hocko's show in Newfoundland the other day, or a couple months ago, and I said, did you ever have any plans? He said, oh, gee, I never had a plan just to get up.
And you kind of believe him, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, I think for most of us just sort of float along. And so my life could have been different. I mean, Alpine Excess, if it had been a monster hit,
right.
I would be probably doing different things, you know.
Paul Gross, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.